and the consciousness below your waist. And I might need to jump around, but primarily that's there. So we are describing this world and actually, if I were to draw it back into this world, it's how you see life in the first floor, second floor, third floor of your building. So you can kind of connect a full trinity here. Okay, so when you're in the first floor of your building, it's like how you see your whole world. Remember, when you're in the first floor and you look out, so you actually see this is all you see. And you can think that this is the whole universe. And in fact, you do. And in fact, you do. And you base the world. And here's your first floor, second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, you base the whole universe on this world, which is your first power center, on physical senses. This is a literal world for you. You take everything literally here. This is a place where your consciousness is the thickest, the most dense. And this is why in this world, power is so upside down from the real power that in this world, more is necessary than less. So this is where wars are fought. You got to have a whole lot of power here because nobody has any power, because it's the biggest center of illusion. So this is why when you're in the first chakra, the bigger the house, the more you have. Nothing is ever enough. This is the world of the black hole. Nothing's ever enough in this world. And as soon as you start thinking that way, you are in your first chakra, you are in the first floor psychic field of your own being. You are here. And as soon as you start talking, and the words come out of you like, well, yes, well, I live in that part of town. And as soon as you feel that starting in you, we call it one-upsmanship. Soon as you feel yourself feeling badly about what little you have compared to how much someone else has, you're here. You're in the first floor, where you start measuring your self-worth by stuff. Stuff. Everybody understand the word stuff? Junk, stuff. How much stuff do you have? I have a lot of stuff. How much stuff do you have? Where'd you get your stuff? Does your stuff have a label on it? Because unless your stuff has labels, it's not as good as my stuff. You have a lot of stuff? Where's your stuff? Is your stuff on that side of town, or is your stuff on this side of town? That's this first floor conversation. That conversation would never happen up here. There's no such thing as a stuff conversation on the 6th, 7th, 8th. There's no stuff up there, for one thing. Okay, you're up there, but you can't take your stuff up there. It won't go. Won't fit in the elevator. Only soul fits in the elevator. Elevator's this big. So you have to leave your stuff behind. So if you still need your stuff, you're going to stay down here. This is where you lose yourself over trying to calculate how to get stuff. What are you doing? Calculating how to get more stuff. I'm thinking about my stuff. Can I have more stuff? What are you doing? I'm praying for stuff. Where's my stuff? I have to have more stuff. I can't sleep tonight. Why not? I can't figure out how to get more stuff. I'm running out of stuff. Okay. I got stuff for Christmas. Okay. So, now, tribes go to war over stuff. So long as stuff is a big deal, we will have war. There's no such thing as stopping war by screaming peace. Stop it. What a bunch of nonsense. That's why I would never join a peace movement. I'll join an anti-stuff movement. But, I mean, stop with the stuff. Stop, enough stuff. But I won't join a peace movement. It's just nonsense to me. It's all nonsense. Because it's not about peace, it's about stuff. No more stuff. Okay. This is what will you do for stuff? How important is your stuff? And what you will anchor in. What kind of stuff do you absolutely have to have? Stuff. This is what we kill over in this part of you. And you might think if I got you up to the 4th floor and we were all kicking back and talking and feeling love, show me the love. Show me the love. You wouldn't feel a connection to your stuff. And then as soon as you found out something about someone maybe getting the dress you wanted, kaboom, down you go. And all your consciousness is so like out that window. You know, I had in my Teresa experience when it was active and I was writing Entering the Castle and I was actively in the most exquisite interior time of my life. And I have a spiritual director whom I've been with for 14 years. I see him every Monday for 2 hours. And I said I had a really beautiful, tiny, micro, just a beautiful, mystical, just a beautiful inner experience, just exquisite. And I was high on it. I mean, I was just off in an orbit in mystical, spiritual la-la land. And I was just blissing out and feeling like life was going to be perfect from then on in. I had crossed into nirvana. I had become like and I'm talking to him about it, and boy, did I need a good, yeah, I needed my head in the toilet for 7 minutes, and it happened. I get in my car and I'm driving, and kaboom, someone wasn't driving fast enough, and it wasn't like the way I needed the world to be. And this is where you need the world to be your way. So here, I didn't realize I was just boom. And in short order, I was just ready to ram this person off the road because it wasn't the way I needed it to be, when I needed it to be there, la 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 la. And I was going to jam, and I almost ran this woman off the road. And I just pumped myself. And to this day, I think that was an angel. Just because I almost ran this person off the road. And if it wasn't for like the grace of God, I think this person would have hit a tree. And I really thought, oh my God. And it was a real bad dose of me. And a real bad dose of no matter how bliss, the moment you touch base with the part of yourself that has to have it your way. And you're always engaged in that part. As long as we're alive, we're engaged with that part of ourselves. We got to keep an eye on ourselves all the time. All the time. So it's not about mastering yourself forever. It's about keeping your eye on yourself at all times. At all times. About when you are losing. the spiritual art is about recognizing you will always lose yourself and catching yourself faster and faster and faster. And knowing I could anchor myself here. Where you're going to lose your power, how fast, and getting it back. And realizing I could anchor myself here. I'm getting weak need. Read the signals. Learn to say a prayer that says, put a field around me. This is where I put myself in my castle. The issues here are family. The stuff with your family. At the same time, we all need family. You are not good alone without somebody. You're not good. You don't travel well in life without people, without being rooted. In so many ways, my friends are my family. I have family as well, and I'm very close to them. But I am very mindful of friends of mine who don't have family. And I know that you need this part of you anchored somewhere. You need to be anchored in your identity. And I also know, and this is archetypal, that somewhere in your 40s, your identity is going to go into a collision. I can chart it. You will become discontent with your identity. It's simply a given. It's not you. There's nothing unique about it, but it will happen. Your ego identity will become insufficient for the rest of your journey. It's not enough. Because your ego is about what it can take. It's in this world. And you'll develop an appetite for what you can give. And therein lies the collision. You will go from what you can take to wanting to discover what you can give. But that requires that you wake up your interior self. Because the ego simply wants to take. And you have to train your ego, not retrain it, train it, smack it, so that it becomes the servant to your soul. So that it becomes the watchdog at the gate of who you are. So that it represents you with integrity. You need that part of you. You need that part. It needs to become the bark. It needs to become the part of you that protects your integrity. That can snap at you so that you can walk and be in the world but not of the world. So that you can deal with wealth, you can deal with power, you can deal with this, but you're strong enough to bite yourself and bite others if you feel yourself losing power. So you could walk in a tribe and be mindful and be able, this is the part of you that you deal with your pride, and pride's poison if you don't. The other side of pride is dignity. The positive side is having a reverence for the sacredness of your life and the life of others. But the biggest obstacle is your own pride. And I'm going to hit a pause button here. And how many anchors do you have because of moves you've made out of your pride? Because your pride got the best of you. You know, you can't talk to me that way. Pride. I'm actually asking you, I'm not talking to myself. I could talk to myself, it's been known to happen, but I'm asking you since you're here. What kind of trouble has your pride gotten you into? Do you ever buy something because now you're stuck and your pride won't let you not buy it? Well, it could, but you get yourself thinking you ought to because the person's looking at you. Okay, people marry because their pride got them into a situation. And they don't have enough backbone to say, I can't get out of this. I got to get out of it, and I can't. My pride's involved. That's how strong this is. What else? Right. Right. I don't want to be humiliated. I'll take the humiliation. Right. Right. What else we got? Because it creates anchors for you. Big, huge ones. The other thing that happens is this is the center of humiliation. Now, I want you to picture a door here. See a door? See the door? Of your first floor. And your issues with pride can be so intense that they create a fear of being humiliated. And that becomes the reason you won't leave the door, the first floor. You won't go out into your world. You won't make decisions about your life or anything out in the world. You won't follow guidance in yourself. You won't dare to present yourself to the world. Now pay attention to me, as a healthy person, for fear of being humiliated. Instead, you present yourself as a wounded person so that you won't be wounded further. You'll go out in the world if you're wounded. So you officially put up the white flag and you say, I'm wounded, I'm wounded, I'm wounded, I'm wounded. So everyone says, okay, a wounded bird coming. And this way, it actually guarantees what you're actually doing is, it's actually a way of saying, now nobody would dare humiliate me. So what you're really doing is you could have healed, but you're hanging on to the wound as a way of guaranteeing you won't be humiliated. And you're playing that wound for everything you can. So you could have gotten rid of it. You could have gotten over it. But you have every intention of hanging on to it, because it's the shield to prevent you from being humiliated. And rather than getting over yourself, getting over your past, getting on with it, and daring to have your reverence for yourself and dignity take over. And say, you know what, I'll be fine. You don't want to risk it. So you live the life of a wounded bird. Talk to me.
I see a lot of this when it comes to forgiveness. Some people just don't want to forgive.
Some people don't want.
I see it, that they're ready to forgive, but they're just holding on to it because they're afraid of further getting wounded, or the wound actually just protects them from something.
Well, the wound gives a person power to punish. That's what it is. It's not that they're afraid of being hurt. They don't want to be able to stop hurting others.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got nothing to do with the fear of being hurt. It's got to do with the permission to use the wound to hurt others, to use the wound to be able to come home from work and not so that others I can yell at you. And I've had a bad day and it's worse than your day. And if you say anything, and then I can scream louder, and then I'll pull out the wound. Well, I saw someone that reminded me of, and then you say, oh man, I'm sorry. Then you end up apologizing to me for not letting me be wounded. It's perfect. What a strategy. And then, next thing you know, what can you do for me? Who would give that up? My God, who would give that up? You'd have to be crazy to give that up. This is why people don't heal. Because there is not a strategy to match that. I mean, if I came home and if I was actually healed, if I felt good about myself and I came home, what if I just said, would you mind just taking care of me? Because, like, I'm exhausted and I don't want to. I'm going to go collapse on that couch. I need a big pot of tea, and I don't want to do anything because I'm feeling absolutely lazy. And I'd rather see you do it. And I don't care if you've worked all day. Actually, I'm in a mood where I don't care. And so don't ask me a thing, because that's how I'm feeling. And what's worse is I'm having a bad-ass attack of entitlement. And I don't care if you do. Don't talk to me. Look, this is how I feel about you. La, 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 la. So that's how I feel. And I don't want to actually admit it. I'm feeling very selfish. And I don't really care about you today. It's all about me. So rather than actually say that, I'm going to make up a big, huge lie and tell you I saw somebody who put me in a flashback about a wound I hadn't actually thought about for years. But I haven't used it. So I'm going to dust it off and say, oh my God, it just was a bad flashback. It took my breath away. Oh my God. Will you sit down? Who's going to give that up? Who is going to give that up? Why would you get... And we have a culture, a society that so coddles the wounded that we've taken the backbone out of us. Why would anybody heal?
Well, we justify the bad behavior.
Yeah, and there's no future in healing. There's absolutely no motivation to get a working backbone. That's why I have to, it's like, oh, stop it. Yeah.
If you choose not to deal with somebody like that,
Which I do.
so it's not your pride for choosing not to deal with somebody like that, is it? Is it the same? If you don't want to participate, like, okay, if I didn't want to participate in that game, and the only option was for me to apologize for being myself or something like that, is it my pride for not doing that?
What are you not doing? Wait a minute, you're too vague here. Apologize for being yourself, what do you mean?
Someone pulled out the wound card on you.
Right.
To play that game. You mean?
Right, and so if I don't want to be involved, even if they're dying, you know, and is it my pride?
I don't know, is it? Because it can be anything. You're dealing with an actual case, so why don't you spell it out? Because every case is different with people. I'm not going to do a general answer here, but in spelling it out, there's an archetypal pattern. So you're obviously talking about a relationship that's in your life.
Yes.
And it may be, is it your mother that's dying, or is it, who's dying?
My mother died, and I hadn't.
Because it feels very mother to me.
Yeah, and I hadn't spoken to her in 2 or so years before she died, at her insistence. And I didn't go. I didn't know.
You didn't know she was dying?
No, I didn't know she was dying. I wasn't told
And
that she was in the hospital or anything like that. But she also said she didn't want to see me unless
because
I apologized to her. For speaking up.
Okay.
About something.
Okay, so, and you chose not to apologize. That was your choice.
Yeah.
Okay, that was your choice.
Right.
Okay, so and that was out of anger.
Well, no, I kind of felt like it was the right thing.
Okay.
So I didn't feel bad about not apologizing, but I felt like I was in this choice. So it felt like that wound, you know, that my only choice was to let go of what I felt was right. But what I'm questioning, is that just pride?
Mm-hmm.
Can I just go, it doesn't matter, it just...
What can you live with? Let me ask you what you can live with. and choose that path.
Well, I have to live with it.
What is the path that is soothing and healing for you? Because both are available. You're at a crossroads. What can you live with? Why would you choose the path you cannot live with? Choose the one you can. They're both there. It's not a right or wrong. It's wise or unwise. Which is the path that you can live with? She's not here anymore.
Right.
So which is the path that mends your heart? Which one?
I honored her wishes.
There you go. Well, then there you are. Then there you are. All is well. All is well. There's nothing else to think about. So then you have to assume she died very peacefully, but from where she is now, all is well. And all is healed with her. And there's no reason for you not to understand that or see it the same way. She is no longer your mother. She's also her eternal self. She has shed that identity. And with it, all the rage. That issue doesn't exist for her anymore. That is something you have to understand. She's not processing this anymore. It's gone. So do yourself the favor and let it go as well. It's gone from her. Don't hold on to something that's gone. It's gone. It's all gone.
Yeah.
If you think this spirit is holding on to it, it's so gone. That soul's very clear about the illusion and nonsense that was in Earth School. It's gone. Don't hold on to something that's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. It's part of a life she's done with.
Thank God.
Yeah. So let it go. You should have a good laugh and a drink to her while bye. I'll see you later. Meet me when I'm there and all will be well.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. And such a lesson and such a truth should give you a perspective from the soul's point of view of what is worth anchoring to and how to pull up an anchor. If you're holding on to anything with someone who's passed, the issue's gone and the life is over.
But not so easily done for some people.
It's not, but what's ever unfinished hasn't to do with them.
Yeah.
It has to do with a way that they see themselves and what they want to do with that and how they're using it. Separate and apart from the soul that's gone on. And that they have to examine in themselves.
I love your response.
Ah,
With whatever mends your heart.
yeah. Okay, yes.
Are identities anchors too?
Identities are what a wonderful question. Gold star. Okay, you've earned a gold star. Gold star. No, it's not. Gold star, isn't it? You got a gold star. Identities are very much anchors because you can crave in this world, because this is a world of where you construct your identity, where identities become power or powerlessness, where you feel like because this is where the world you are born into either gives you an identity, first floor, or not. Where's your pedigree? You're well pedigreed. Or not. Or not. You know, you're either legitimate or you're not legitimate. You know, watch Downton Abbey. You know, this is that pedigree. It's an identity. You know, you either this nationality or that nationality. This is part of that identity here, where it's all about that. What religion are you? This is that part of you. It's what is the obvious that you wear. Your body is whole or it's not. You have a straight back or not. You have all your body parts or not. If you don't, you have to prove you are better. That you are still, that you can function as well as those who have 2 legs and 2 arms. Identity is an anchor. Okay, it's a big, you can be anchored in some event where you lost a leg. Here's the anchor. You're anchored in something that happened. You were once this, now you're that. That's a big anchor. Great big huge anchor. Pre and post cancer. Pre and post what? You know, these are anchors. Great big huge. Did that help you?
Yeah. Thank you. I just wonder then the distinction between anchor and roots.
Well, roots are that, you know, I come from this place. I come from this family. Roots are what give you power, what give you strength, what gives you stability, what gives you your values, what or not, the absence of it. I'm not a wanderer. I know where my home is. It's very important for me to be able to go home. It's very, roots gives you tradition or not. And some people, but the fact is, everybody needs traditions. Everybody. That's archetypal. Your first floor are where the traditions from your family come, or your tribe. And if your tribe didn't give you tradition, you will start something that's tradition, and you will. This part is what activates our rituals. Every one of you has rituals. Every one of you. And part of the rituals are from your tribe, or the ones that you definitely don't want are the ones you've left from your tribe. Okay? My rituals are very tribal, based on tribal, because I love the rituals of our holidays and our sacred days. I love them. And Joyce and Beth have been part of the holidays and our rituals. We have singing, and we have very rich participation of that's a mixture of my ethnic background and my religion background, not religious, but religion. And I love that, and it gives us roots. So that's roots. It goes back generation after generation. These are deep roots. Generation, it's generational. And there's a strong habitus maximus in my family. It's Latin. And from your habitus maximus comes the habits of the heart of the tribe. The habits, habitus, maximus, the great heart, the central heart of the tribe. You take care of the elders. We don't have elderly. We have elders. And they are attended to. Period. The family members are attended to when they are not well. Period. There is no question. Every cousin, every this, every that. A habitus maximus. The greater heart takes over. That's all there's to it. There is no question. There is no question. Everybody goes on hospital detail, food detail. The wires are out. Who does what? Where we go. Habit. But these are habits that are passed down to the next generation. There is no option for them. They do not get to say, we have plans. If an elder is down, no adult cares about their plans. Nobody cares about their plans. It is their obligation to care about our plans, as we cared about, and that's how we learned. And that's all there's to it. Who cares about your plans tonight? You get to the hospital. That's how it works. That's how it works. The values are passed down. And that's actually what's going on right now in my family. That's exactly how it goes. That's exactly. And that's the roots. It's never not been that way. Through the deaths of all the children. That's just the way it is. And everybody checks in with everybody every other day. Just this whole big, huge network. The nieces, nephews check in all the time. So like when I say I have a niece, I don't mean way down. No. I mean in my email, on the phone, all the time, in my house, in and out, all the kids. I'd wring their neck if that wasn't the case. I'd wring their neck. Yeah. Okay, habitus maximus. You do not offer an instruction book at age 22. You're obligated to call me. Either you instruct them day to day on this, on the habits of the heart, or not. You don't start yelling at them at age 22. Where are you? You're neglecting me. This is the weave of the tribe. Okay? That's the roots. That's the roots. And the rituals go with it. Because I tell you something, you have your first chakra has that pulse. I need a ritual here. I need a ritual here. When a soul comes into a family, it requires a ritual. Because heaven says, did you catch it? Now connect it to its physical form. Connect it. It needs a blessing. The soul needs to be connected. You just don't grab it, throw it in a diaper, and keep going. It needs to be acknowledged that something sacred has come into form. We got it. Just like you don't die without something sacred saying, do you have anything left behind? Is there anyone you need to have closure with? Then go with God and go to God. Okay? These are all first floor rituals. And when they are not observed, you feel it. You feel it. You do feel it. There's something missing and you know it. And this is where religion comes in. Religion is the keeper of ritual. And it doesn't matter what religion, and I'm not talking about the politics, please, 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 I have no use for that. But the job of religion is to take however the peoples understand the holy and to ritualize it. And to put it into community. To communalize it. Leave the politics out. I have no use for the politics of any religion. Because the politics are dangerous. That's where they take and try to make money off the power and scare people. But the actual origin of the rituals, if you look at the origin of the rituals of Christianity, they were really beautiful until Christianity ceased to be persecuted. So long as it was persecuted, it was a really high-functioning religion. Because it wasn't yet a religion. It didn't become a religion until Constantine made it the official religion of Rome. But prior to that, when the Christians just had to meet privately and in secret, they were doing a good job of it. They were ordaining each other, praying together, being kind to each other, and And they weren't making things up and doing bad things like starting a political network. They were being in community with each other. And that's what people want. And that's what this is about. Yeah.
Just building off of that question that Christiana had, what I was wondering was around the same topic, but this idea of know thyself. So I guess building off of that, if identity is an anchor, the idea of know thyself, is that something that is separating me, or to the extent that I
From
the whole, like am I splitting my own atom in that conversation? I guess there's an aspect of know thyself, which is knowing that the archetypal powers and knowing, know thyself on that level, and then the know myself on the identity level. And so that was just a question that I was just wondering.
No, because let's go through the door of Buddha. Let's bring Buddha in. How would Buddhism address that? Buddha would say, know your illusions. Let's break your illusions. Because your illusions, you should not be controlled by illusions of reptiles in the dark. Know your illusions so that you are only controlled by truth, so that you could follow the noble path, become a noble soul. That's the intention. Why, if you think that this is your path, and all of you represented my illusions, in order for me to get to the camera, I could walk it in 5 seconds, 2 seconds. But if all of you were my illusions, it could take me the rest of my life to get there. If all of you were if I dealt with all of you as my illusions, and this was the speed of healing, without illusions, I would heal everything from my cancer to whatever I had in 2 seconds. But because I have so many illusions, it would take me 20 years to heal what I could heal in 2 seconds if I didn't have illusions. Because because of the noble path. But with illusions like the Tao, I'm going to fall every time I run into one of you. You'll throw me off balance. I might believe, for example, that unless I clear things up with a soul now who's long gone, and I'll tell my story again and again. It's an illusion. There's no truth to it now. There's no truth to it at all. That soul's gone. That soul doesn't even think of me. That soul's gone on to become someone else. Doesn't even have that same identity anymore. Doesn't even have that identity anymore. Shed it, just like you'll shed this when you die. Gone. I have to pull it back to be that illusion. And when I die, that soul will greet me. But not as my mother, but as a soul who agreed in this lifetime to be that. And I will not greet that soul as her daughter, not even as a her, but as a soul who agreed in this lifetime to play that role, and we will embrace each other because we did a good job. Well done, us. We pulled off another journey together. But if I am all twisted in the illusion, it should have been this way. She didn't want me to talk to her. What would you think? Let it go and say, well done. So choose the path that heals. It's all done. She did. Okay? So in Buddha, you heal. Know thyself. What are my illusions? Name an illusion. Pick one. Pick any of your illusions.
That I have to be acknowledged and recognized to feel okay.
Yeah, okay, that's an illusion. By whom? Because it can't be acknowledged by everybody. So pick who you have to be acknowledged. Be very specific. Because illusions are specific. So who do you have to be acknowledged? Okay, by your dad. So you have to be acknowledged and recognized by your dad to feel okay. You absolutely have to. That's an illusion, but here you go. Here we go. And that's a good old-fashioned tribal illusion. Did you tell him that? Does he know? Okay, and so does he play games about it?
Well, I picked that one, but my relationship with that illusion is now different. But I just picked that, so I kind of am not anchored by it anymore.
Well, give me an anchor. I'm not interested in something you're not anchored by.
Okay.
Give me something you really struggled with.
Okay, I have to. My body has to look a certain way to make me feel okay.
Well, what kind of way do you want it to look?
Fit and healthy and thin.
And who's looking at it?
Me, by my standards.
Okay, and if it didn't look that way, what would happen? Here comes the illusion.
Yeah, so then I feel unworthy
Of?
of,
No, you have a target in mind. Unworthy of what?
unworthy of, I'm trying to decide if love from others or love from myself.
I would start with the others.
Okay.
Any kind of special others?
Um,
Male over females, because females don't care.
Yeah, I would say male.
Okay, get specific. I'm going to check. Don't ever not finish a sentence with me.
Well, the reason why I'm hesitating is because the males in my life don't give. Okay, well, no, that's not true. I would say that my dad's probably the most superficial of all the men that I know. So I guess my dad.
He cares what you look like that?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I would say, and I think that I've also created like my love relationships. Well, okay, I can say my boyfriend right now. Most of my love relationships actually haven't been as judgmental as I have been about myself. So that's why I was talking about the self-love piece. Like they're much more accepting than I am of myself.
Let me ask you something. Is there a part of your love relationships in which the physicalness plays a major role? Like if something happened to you, would that destroy your relationship?
If something happened to me, if something happened to me physically,
Yeah.
to destroy my relationship. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, all right, okay. So here's something I'm going to recommend just for fun. Just for fun. Tell your dad, I'm just recommending this. All right. Tell your dad, here's something that I changed, and that's my caring about your opinion. I care about you, but I've cut off caring about your opinion. It's very liberating. Very liberating. I discovered I could really love you more, but I'm not interested in any of your opinions anymore. It's fabulous. Try it. I would recommend you don't care about any of my opinions either. So let's meet on that ground. Let's care deeply about each other, but never again about each other's opinions. Change the rules.
This brings up another question that I had. Self-knowledge about my anchors. Understanding my anchors. The way that I'm understanding this conversation is that I might be able to have knowledge of those anchors, but that I lack the power to be able to pull those anchors out. Like that I need the sacred, I need a power greater than myself to pull that out. And
Bingo.
so I love what you're saying, but I don't think I have the power to do that on my own.
You don't.
Okay.
And well done you. Gold star. And I think that's two. You're leading the pack. But here's the thing. That's the brilliance of getting this, which is exactly why everybody, that's why in looking at all the information that's been passed out, that's been revealed about how attitudes influence us and influence health and all this stuff about, in order to heal, do this and do that and eat this way and run and sit and jog and all this other stuff. None of that will help you here. None. Zero. It might relieve pain. You get a little relief from pain, you'll get a little relief here, but in the long run, it can't heal anything at all, because it doesn't have the capacity to actually change what's happening in cell tissue. And by cell tissue, I also mean the cell tissue of your physical life. At the larger sphere, in the first chakra, I want you to imagine it's the external body of your life, and your cells are this big. So here's your dad in your cell, and here's your mom, and here's the environment. This is the external cell body of your life. It's the environmental cell. Can you picture what I'm saying to you? So to heal something in the external cell, what you can do is bring a level of consciousness, but you actually can't detach and heal. You can have healing conversations that might shift the current a little bit, but you'll never get out of the issue. Ever. Which is why what people say to me is, we've talked about it, we've this, we've that, we've this, we've that, we're processing, we're working on it. These are the kinds of conversations you have, but you never get out of it. You never get out of the orbit. To actually get out of the orbit, you got to get up here. You got to get up here. You need the graces, you need to work the laws, you need to clip, you need to transition, okay? And that the bridge up here is, you actually need to invoke grace, you actually need to pray, you actually need to understand that I have to work with different cause and effect. I have to make some very different choices, and I can't look back. And those different choices are going to change this world. And when you're in this world, you don't have the power to do that. But you have to pull up anchors and make very different choices. And when you say, I don't know that yes, you can do it. But sometimes you have to build up the momentum. God grant me the courage the fortitude. The fourth chakra, grace. I really need to do this. And what happens is the realization grows stronger, and then the appetite to do it, appetite down here second, your appetites in the physical world begin to change. Instead of having an appetite for his attention, you start developing an appetite for liberation. And that's how grace comes in. That's how grace comes in. You start developing the other appetites that are in your second field that you haven't discovered. Because there are other appetites in the second field, second floor. You thought, where do these come from? It's not unlike when you start getting yourself, start changing your inner life. Your appetites, your physical appetites for food shift. That's the second chakra, is an appetite for food. You may find yourself developing an allergy to this and a craving for this, and you can't eat this, but you want this, and that's what happens on the second floor. As you start cleansing yourself from this, you realize, I can't eat this junk food anymore, but I really want clean food. I want clean food. And you never really were mindful, full in your mind, of what you were eating. And now it's very important for you. It becomes a value for you to be very mindful of what you're putting in your body. It makes a difference, because you realize it does make a difference. It does. You want live food. You want fuel. You want it, because now you actually feel you're developing a different relationship with your form. That as you're becoming more conscious, you actually feel the cause and effect of food in your body. I eat this, it does this. Whereas before you may have just jammed something in to fill the hunger pains. And now you're actually feeling, if I eat this, I feel this way. And if I eat this, and now you realize, I'm getting allergic. This is your second chakra. And it's quite astounding, because this is the center of relationships. How do I relate to what I'm eating, what I am, who I am with? You realize, when I'm with somebody who thinks like this, I get crazy. When I'm in this relationship field, I'm very comfortable. What were you saying when you just described, I think with you? You said very motherly, very calming.
Yeah.
Did you not say?
Lynn, very nurturing.
With Lynn? Was that not you, Lynn? She said when she was with Lynn, when Christina said, when I'm with Lynn, I feel very calm. Everyone's going to grab you now. Uh-oh. But Lynn has a very tranquilizing, and you do. You have a very tranquilizing field. But you start noticing fields around, you don't notice it here in your first floor, but when you get to the your second floor consciousness, you begin to notice fields around food, fields around atmospheres, fields around. And it starts to make a difference who you're with. And that's when you start to pay attention to the quality of relationships. The quality, like, I don't like the impact this person has on my health, not just my wealth. But it starts to make a big difference. These are factors you start to consider. I'm not calm around this person. I'm very calm around this person. Brings joy to me. Joy becomes a factor. You never had a joy factor before. Not enough joy, not enough joy. Not enough joy. Okay. See how this works? It's so delicious, and you realize, I think joy is an issue for me, and I think I thrive better in joy. And I need somebody who is joyful. And I don't want someone who drains me of that. Because I need to dwell in these kinds of fields of grace. And if I don't, it will deplete how I feel. I'm discovering that about myself. And I don't want to be without this kind of grace. It's very delicate, and I like it. Okay, I'm going to send us all. I'm done lecturing. I'm done. I've given it all today. I'm turning it off now.